In this video, we're comparing the Macmillan's foam cannon to the Max Shine foam cannon and talking about a lot of different variables to see which one we think might be best. What's going on? Glad you're here and welcome back to the Wilson Auto Detailing community. If you are new here, then consider subscribing. So guys, to give you some context for what is going to happen in this video, behind me there's a Toyota Camry. I'm detailing the exterior. What I want to do here is fill up both of these foam cannons with the same amount of water, the same amount of soap, the same kind of soap, and I actually want to test two different soaps on this car paint with each foam cannon to see if there's any noticeable difference whatsoever. And while we do this, I also want to talk about the effectiveness of a foam cannon, the effectiveness of the soap, and this is actually a really good canvas behind me because this car is really pretty dirty, but has been, you know, sealed and waxed in the last, I don't know, 4-ish months. And what I want to test here is with the premise that a foam cannon is designed to encapsulate surface dirt, pull it off the paint with gravity as the suds pull off the paint, and of course increase lubrication. But again, one of the primary purposes of a foam cannon is to pull off that surface dirt. Can we see any incredibly noticeable difference before and after? And we're actually going to be looking at this before and after 4 different foams because we're testing 2 different soaps here, 2 different soaps here, and then we'll come in and look at the after. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now what we got here is the Macmillan's foam cannon filled up basically almost all the way with water and 3 ounces of the Max Shine Purple Haze Snow foam soap. All right, the Max Shine foam cannon, same thing, filled up almost all the way with water, about 3 ounces of the Max Shine Purple Haze foam soap, both the exact same. All I want to see here, okay, is there any difference? By the way, both of these foam cannons are priced roughly the same, around $30. This Max Shine's $30, this one's about $30 to $40, okay? A lot of times we're more interested in videos of, is there a difference between the expensive and the inexpensive? While I appreciate those and I understand the logic behind it, I want to see, is there a difference in how the almost equally priced foam cannons perform? Is there any significant difference at this level? Max Shine particularly is a company that does a very good job at making fantastic products at a really inexpensive price because of the way they're set up. It's why I partner with them. I love them. I've used this foam cannon about 10 to 20 times. I've used the Macmillan's foam cannon, let's say around 4 to 6 different times, okay? So let's go ahead, we'll start with the Macmillan's, finish with the Max Shine. I'll show you guys the before and after of the Macmillan's. Same thing with the Max Shine, we'll look at the suds, and let's look at the before of the paint itself. So the reason I say this is gonna be a really good canvas is because this one gets really dirty. This Toyota Camry gets super, super dirty. You guys can see tons of really just a lot of dirt, a lot of bugs, right? So check that out. Disgusting. Now, granted, a foam cannon is not going to get rid of, you know, bugs, at least without agitation, right? But you guys understand what I'm saying. See all this dirt kicked up all the way down here. Just really, really, really dirty. I actually did already clean the tires and the wheel wells because I am going to be detailing the entire exterior, and so the foam cannon is not going to be powerful enough without, you know, any agitation to be able to tackle something like this. But more or less, I just want to show you guys what this paint looks like. Tons of dirt. So here we go. Let's start with the Macmillan's. We'll look at the foam, hit the paint, we'll look at it after, then we'll compare it to the performance of the Max Shine, and I'll give you guys my notes as far as me actually being here, using it, the user experience, and all that good stuff. So here we go. All right, so I want to take you around and look at the foam real fast. Now, granted, some parts have been sitting on the car now for like a minute or more, so there's going to be some like dripping and might look kind of like there wasn't a lot of foam or something, but again, that's just because it's been sitting here. So you guys can see, I'll show you the white paint as well, but of course on the windows it'll be a little bit easier to see. So a couple notes real fast. Number one, this is not my favorite foam cannon, to be honest with you. I do tend to have kind of some troubles with it. It doesn't produce, I'll tell you right now, just from not using the Max Shine yet, it does not produce the level of foam the Max Shine foam cannon does. And it's one of the reasons why I don't use it very much. So you guys can see here what this looks like on white paint. And while it definitely works, again, it just tends to be really finicky for me. Now, I guess you could attribute that to maybe the particular model that I have, or maybe it's a, you know, maybe it's an anomaly, but no matter what soap I put into it, it just does not produce the level of foam that I kind of require for when I use a foam cannon in the rare circumstances that I do. So you guys can see here, it's been sitting on the paint maybe for 2 minutes now, and there's just not, I don't know, there's not a lot to say about it. Like, there's not a lot left, I guess. So I'm not trying to dog it, but I am just trying to be real with you. It does not produce the amount of foam that I have with other foam cannons, and even foam cannons outside of what I'm using in this video. It definitely performs kind of, I guess, the least well relative to the rest. So I'm gonna go ahead and hose this off, put the Max Shine on. We'll come in and reevaluate after that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys just the kind of initial visual aspect here. This has been sitting for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes now, and you guys can see like now the foam is just starting to kind of disperse. I'm trying to get you guys a bunch of angles here so you can see, and maybe you get my point here. I don't know maybe how obvious it is in the camera, and particularly because it's on white paint, but I actually did want to do this on white paint because I kind of like to see just how foam reacts in all sorts of different conditions. But the foam, there's just more foam. Like it's not even a, you can't argue about it. Like there's just more foam on the paint. Yeah, I don't know. I keep finding this the more I use it. And I'm not saying, again, trying to be negative about the Macmillans. I just find that Max Shine produces more foam. And again, this is just kind of a split test. Now it's probably been on the paint for 3.5 minutes-ish, and it's just now starting to kind of, you know, clump up almost and fall off, kind of like the Macmillans did in the first, I don't know, 30 seconds to 60 seconds. So let me go ahead and rinse this off. We're gonna do something a little bit different after. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I've filled both the Max Shine and the McKillen's foam cannon with this AM Details foam soap. This is a much higher end foam soap. If anything, it gives the benefit of the doubt to the foam cannon. This soap works fantastically, and so this is kind of a way to say, okay, is it my foam cannon or is it my soap, right? Because a little bit of this goes a very long way. I've experimented with it a ton, and it's a very, very, very high quality soap. So basically, the point of this video is me kind of explaining the lengths that I try to go to and the lengths that you really need to go to in the detailing world to really draw conclusions about things that are kind of sufficient, because there's so many variables that go into testing like this. And so I try to test just in every possible way to get kind of a good, accurate, logical conclusion about things. So what I'm gonna do, I've already filled up both of these foam cannons. We're gonna do the same exact thing. Start with the McKillen's, look at it afterwards, go to the Max Shine, look at it afterwards, and see if we can see any difference with this soap, and see maybe if it gives any sort of change or variability in this. So let's go ahead and start with the McKillen's. Alright, so I think my point about the McKillen's foam cannon is kind of made even more obvious here. The soap rocks, but there's like no suds left. Again, I don't know why this is. I've used this foam cannon maybe this is the 4th time. Really liked it in the beginning, and it's just been really disappointing. Yeah, there's just not a lot to be said here. There's no suds left on the paint. So let's go ahead and switch to the Max Shine, and I'll hose this off. Alright, so I just ran out of the soap, and you guys can see here just a lot more suds, a lot more foam relative to the McKillen foam cannon. So as far as my conclusion goes with which one produces more foam, undoubtedly the Max Shine does. It's just not really a question at this point. Again, this is a really high quality foam soap, and if anything's gonna go wrong here, it's definitely not gonna be the soap. So what I wanna do here is rinse this off, and I wanna re-look at the paint to see what it looks like after relative to before all of this foam hit it. Again, this is 4 different times of foaming it and rinsing it. So let's go ahead and look at what the paint looks like. Okay, so let's go around, and I want to give some notes here. Number one thing that I notice, and whether you guys can see it in the camera or not, I'm not really sure, so I'm just gonna give you guys a lot of different looks. I've not dried this paint. I'm gonna do a contact wash here in a second. However, number one thing I noticed here, yes, there is an obvious shine, clarity, depth to the paint, gloss to the paint that was not there before the foam cannon. It is undoubtedly cleaner. There is no question. I mean, logically, like, of course, after 4 foam washes, it's going to be cleaner. Okay, you guys can see that. Hopefully you can pick that up in the camera. If you look at that white paint maybe reflected in the sun, you can see that. Undoubtedly, there is surface dirt that is gone that was once there. So I want to be clear about that. Yes, the foam cannons are effective. They do work in most cases. What I do also want to be clear about is this dirt down here. This is obviously still here. This is not going to come off with a foam cannon. Now the other side, what I wanted to show you here is I did hit it with my pressure washer in a couple places, so you can see there this like line of demarcation right here, dirty, clean. I hit that close up with my pressure washer. It's not going to strip the paint. It's not powerful enough, and that's what happened there. So obviously hooking up to a pressure washer is also very effective in cases like this. You're going to remove surface dirt without having to touch it. You're going to reduce scratching. Great little you know, it's a great tool to have, okay, for much more than just using a foam cannon. So first note, Obviously, depth of shine, depth of gloss, it looks great already. It's gonna look even better after the contact wash. Second note, the heavy pieces of dirt, they're still there, no question. Third thing I wanna note here is that I definitely prefer the Max Shine foam cannon. This is one of the reasons that I work with Max Shine. This is one of the reasons why I partner with them, and I'm proud of it because I like the tools they produce. I'm not against Makillen's. This, again, may be a faulty, you know, sprayer, but again, it's been sitting in my foam cannon bin for, you know, maybe, I don't know, a couple months. I've used it 3 or 4 times, and you just, it's not enough. I can't be buying one of these, you know, after 4 times of using it. Some people might say it's the pressure washer. There's not enough voltage. There's not enough pressure coming out to actually cause the foam to work like it's supposed to. That's not true, right? You could see the pressure washer work when the foam cannon was not attached. It was working just fine. 2200 PSI coming out of the nozzle. All the variables were in play. They were intact. The only thing that was really being tested here on a grander level is the effectiveness of the foam cannon. I definitely prefer the Max Shine foam cannon. I love it. It sits at a fantastic price point, and to be honest with you, and I have used $100 foam cannons, I see absolutely zero difference between the Max Shine foam cannon and $99, $150 foam cannons. Nothing against them. If you like spending money, you know, for, I don't know, no obvious reason, do it. But I love this foam cannon. I'm gonna keep using it, and you're gonna keep seeing it. So if you wanna get your hands on the Max Shine foam cannon, and I will also hook up the Makillen's below because I do want you guys to be able to look into it. You can read Amazon reviews, things like that. I do think it helps to get a wider perspective of things, not just listening to my voice, but listening to others as well. I'll hook up both foam cannons in the YouTube description box, as well as both of the foam soaps, the one from Max Shine and the one from AM Details. I love both of them. They both work fantastically. The AM Details definitely is designed for higher end cars. You know, it's certainly for a certain type of detailer. I also love the Max Shine foam soap. Works fantastically for 99% of things that you're gonna be doing. So if you wanna check out any of those things, definitely check them out. The Amazon links in the YouTube description box below. If you use my Amazon links, it does give this channel a small commission, but hey, it helps this channel stay alive so I can keep putting out content just like this. So guys, if you are new to the Wilson Auto Detailing community and you love everything auto detailing like I do, then definitely consider subscribing. And as always from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I will see you guys in the next video.